Hello viewers, my name is Wazanai Manyore, coming to you with yet another informative edition of your program, Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness in Support of Vision 2030. So this is a platform which was specifically created for our farming community here in Zimbabwe and the various stakeholders who participate in the agricultural industry of Zimbabwe as we pave way towards achieving Vision 2030 as a country. Now in today's episode, we are going to be looking at the dairy value chain. Now, if you look at the agricultural value chain, it emanates from research to production, processing, marketing, and consumption. Today, we are going to be interacting with the producers and the processors or the manufacturers in the dairy industry right here in Zimbabwe. Now, if you look at Sustainable Development Goal number 1 and 2, they speak of eradication of poverty and alleviation of hunger, respectively. As a country, we are saying we are going to be self-food sufficient by year 2030. We are talking of becoming an upper middle class economy, and one of the critical ways in which we can address that is through being self-sufficient in terms of food security. We are talking of food and nutrition cluster here in Zimbabwe and encouraging our farmers to participate in this kind of programs that are being spearheaded by the government through the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development right here in Zimbabwe. So to kickstart this segment, we are going to be listening to the various beneficiaries who are the farmers who benefited from this initiative from our government. Stay tuned.
Ini ndoitwa James Mugido, ngati ini ndiri chairman, asi tine masenders maviri under City United Dairy Corp. Ino imafumise milk collection center. Tine imwe center iri kupaida moyo kumusoro uko. Ngati 2019 kusvika patiri pano takaona chirongwa chemombe dzakauya maheifers akauya 2021 muna May kupera kwake. Maheifers akabenefita vanhu 23 asi maactive members edu pano tiri 70. Saka pamombe 23 idzi padzakauya tichitarisa volume yedu ubva 2019 21 July kupera kwake, mombe padzakabereka mavolumes edu akakwira kubva mu8000 kuenda pa18000. Takati pari zvino kubva kuTrans DVC takabenefita mombe idzedzo 23, tikabenefita semen, then kukwira kwaita mavolumes edu kubva pa8000 kuenda ku18000. Zvakatibatsira pakuti murima akuenda kumakumba nemari yakawanda. Takawana futi zvema-pure breeds. Izvo zvino takutarisira kuti taane mombe dzemukaka dzakaperera chaizvo kuti mukaka ucharamba uchiwedzera volume yawo panobereka dzimwe mombe 2.
Shadrack Gargwe ndiye SD Secretary weScheme inozi Receipt Dairy Scheme. Mayfield MCC yedu yakabenefita mombe dzakati wandei dzadziri 29. Takabatsirikana zvakanyanya nekuti patakanga tiri kumasure pasure apa tanga tirekodha 18,000 liters per month iri Mayfield chete. Asi as I'm speaking, we are now 28,000. Zvichireva kuti tinoda kutenda zvikuru, toda kutendazve nekuti yakakwanisa kutimechera futi mahambers. Mahambers iwayo anozotirerutsira kunenge kusina mvura, kuti kune kusikakwanisi kusvika mvura mapipes edu. Saka tinoda kutenda zvikuru mahambers iwayo paachauya kune varimi vedu achatibatsira kutakura mahaze, achatibatsira kutakura mvura, achatibatsira kutakura stock feeds kuisa kumba kwedu. Tinoda kutendazve pane dambudziko guru ratatinaro muskimi munomu. Tine dambudziko remvura, but as I speak tine vazhinji vakatomecherwa, vakatotengerwa mapipes. Tachara kuti mvura ichipinda, asi by August, I'm telling you kuti by August tinonga takutosimuka mavolumes edu from 28 to 30. I promise you, because mombe dzedu in calf dzakati wandei.
Ndini milk attendant wepaGoshen MCC. Takaita mabeneficiary akaona mombe i4. Pa4 ipapo 2 mayouth vakabenefita. Then pataya tisati tapiwa mombe idzi, mukaka wedu waita mavolume 35 to 40 liters. Asi patakazowana mombe takusvikawo kuma70 to 80 liters. Mafamasi edu anoprodusa mukaka so far i6, vamwe vacho 2 vakadrya. Saka tinotenda nerubatsiro irworwo.
Inoitwa Noel Mtengu, tiri pano paGoshen MCC. Ndini vice chairman paGoshen MCC. paGoshen MCC taishandisa kutakura mukaka wedu tichienda nawo kupaida moyo pana 7 kg taitakura nemadhongi taiisa mukaka tosheya kuti keni iri toisa mukaka wakafanana newetinoisa kukeni then dhongi rokwanisa kutakura mukaka richifamba 7 kg zvaitirwadza sere kutakura mukaka kufamba nawo 7 km uchikwira makomo nedhongi rakatakura mukaka zvaitirwadza. Izvi zvisingakurudziri vechidiki vakawanda kutakura mukaka nedhongi uchifamba nedhongi uchienda mukaka kupaida moyo zvaitonyadzisa kune vechidiki. Asi tinotenda zvikuru vakatibatsira kuti tikwanise kumecha kutenga tengi redu uye vakatibatsirawo kutenga power system masolar nemabatteries kuti tikwanise kukula kuchengetedza mukaka wedu panapo uchizotakurwa.
Ini ndinoitwa Charlotte Mutasa, ndiri Miss Mutasa. Ndinoita zvefarming ndiri kuno kuChipinge paLaughing Waters. Takazoshanyirwa naMiss Mujaji veDairy Services. Tikazoshanyirwazve naMai Tom. Vasvika munharaunda yedu ino vakanga vachifamba mapurazi muno vachikurudzira mafamazi kuti tirime mukaka. Saka kuburikidza naizvozvo takazochitora chirongwa ichi ndobva tatanga kurima mukaka. That was 2021. Saka kuburikidza naizvozvo takazogonawo kuti titenge isusu mombe dzedu 2 dzemechi. Ivo ndobva vatimechesera nedzimwe 2. Mombe dzacho idzodzo dziri pano dziri pakati pedzimwe mombe dziri apa idzi. Ndobva tatenga chikafu chedu, ndobva tavaka pala yedu iyi yekuti tigone kukamira mukaka wedu munzvimbo yakashambidzika yakachena. Saka pano pakasarudzwa nemamwe mafamaziwo akatitenderedza kuti paite paMCC. Saka takatenga tengi redu riri munzira kuuya zvokuti ipo pano tinenge taane tengi redu cooling tengi rinenge richichengeta mukaka wedu kuti utonhorere. Saka chirongwa ichi ini ndinochiona chiri chirongwa chakanaka zvikuru, chirongwa chiri kutisunda zvikuru, chiri kutikomborera. Nyika yedu inowana mukaka.
Welcome back, viewers. We are here in the second segment of your program where we are looking at the dairy value chain here in Zimbabwe. We are going to be addressing issues surrounding food and nutrition here in Zimbabwe. And we are encouraging our farmers to form cooperatives and participate and work hand in glove with the government through the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development. Now, viewers, we encourage you to be a part of these conversations. Feel free to get in touch with the producer, Wadzanai Manyore. It's on 0772 807 506. Alternatively, you can like our Facebook page, Agribusiness with Wadzanai. We are also available on Twitter, and our Twitter handle there is at Agribusiness110. Leave your comments and suggestions on our YouTube channel. They are most welcome to us. Our YouTube channel is Agribusiness with Wadzanai. Now, moving right along, we are going to be listening to the stakeholders, the processors, the manufacturers along the value chain, the dairy value chain here in Zimbabwe. Stay tuned.
My name is Craig Fowell. We are a vital part to the dairy industry, where we provide the on-farm bulk milk tanks of various sizes for the cold chain. In the second part of the company, we also provide the transport that picks up the milk from on-farm and delivers to the processor. We are basically countrywide and we pick up 40% of national milk production.
On the milk side, we are doing sterilized milk, UHT milk. When we look at the milk side, we have seen a steady growth of 6 to 10% annually over the past 10 years, driven mostly by the activities that both the private sector and government, as well as our donor partners, are carrying out. The key challenges that we are currently facing is the demand far outweighs the supply side. Hence the significant efforts that the industry is putting into growing the milk supply side. We are happy that one of the key issues tackled was the issue of reducing cost of feeding, as well as improving the quality of breeds that our farmers are using. The other challenge that we face as an industry, obviously, was looking at the technologies that are in use, particularly at processing level. We had old equipment, which obviously each processor is trying to address through new investments. And again, we saw a window where processors could actually access funding support for that kind of activity.
My name is Danford Mutasho. If you are talking milk, we are the ones that directly interface with the members of the public, the consumers, after the product has been delivered on our shelves by the producers. We are quite fortunate that as a country, at some point around 2016, the government came up with a statutory instrument as SI 64 of 2016, which actually targeted quite a number of value chains, and the dairy sector was one of the areas that actually got a lot of attention, and through that support, which has continued in the Second Republic, which actually focuses on a re-industrialization through the National Development Strategy 1, which is actually going to anchor the development strategy that government has got, working with the private sector and of course the industry and the distribution sector. The development that has taken place in terms of the availability of locally manufactured dairy products, it is actually moved at an accelerated pace after government intervention, where government ensured that local dairy farmers as well as producers and dairy milk manufacturers, they've got attention through the auction system. They get supply of the foreign currency, which is so dear in our economy, and they got the attention to ensure that dairy products are sufficiently available locally.
ZDIT is mainly working on improving the milk production. So in terms of numbers, we have increased the numbers of milking cows. We also have been working on how we can increase productivity per cow, maybe starting from as low as 8 liters per cow per day. We could be now over 15 liters per cow per day, meaning that we are producing more volumes from the same number of animals that are currently in our dairy herd. There was also a focus on supporting the farmers with the infrastructure and implements, and this was targeting to produce more clean milk, and farmers have had an opportunity to construct their milking parlors. They've had opportunities to buy their feed mixers, their chopper grinders for silage making, and this has improved efficiencies at farm level, and thereby reducing the cost of production per liter of milk. So we are looking at having significantly contributed to the increase in milk production that was experienced, improved feed supply at farm level from the feed entrepreneurs who are producing hay, silage, and lucerne for the small-scale farmers. Feeding of animals has significantly improved. Thus, we talk of an increased milk production per cow per day. There was also increased or improved milk aggregation. I like the Chipinge case, where the Hamba is picking up milk from all producers in the hilly countryside to a milk collection center, where they've also been facilitated with bulk tanks, cooling tanks, where milk can maintain its quality and it can reach the processor in a good state. There was an improvement in the number of farmers that have joined the project. Lots of greenfield farmers, increasing our numbers to over 4,000 from the previous figure of less than 1,500.
And on that note, viewers, we have come to the end of this segment. We are going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the third and final segment. Stay tuned. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness in support of Vision 2030. Today, we are looking at the dairy value chain with anchoring it on our Zimbabwean farmers, the beneficiaries, the producers, those who are responsible of producing the milk that will later be absorbed by the manufacturers or the processors. Now, in this very episode, we are going to be listening to Honorable Hari Tatos. He is the Deputy Minister in the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development.
So essentially this program that we're witnessing today is a joint program between ourselves as Government of Zimbabwe and the EU. So it's actually our program, we designed it and they're assisting us with the funding. The program is basically to support our dairy farmers around the country. And we've brought on also the private sector. So it's not only a government initiative, we've also brought on the private sector. We have Nestle with us today. That's one supporter. We've also got Dairy Board. So it's basically looking at it from a holistic point of view to say, how do we improve the national herd? How do we improve the quality of our produce? How do we support the farmers on the ground? How do we get to self-sufficiency as well as surplus? And these are the steps that we're at.
At this point in time, we are going to cross over and listen to Mr. Paul Zakaria. He is the Secretary General of the Zimbabwe Farmers Union. He works hand in glove with the farming community, with the farmers, and to ensure that discussions on production and productivity are taking place, and that our Zimbabwean farmers are happy and are getting profits from their enterprises.
Well, my name is Paul Zakaria. I'm the Secretary General of the Zimbabwe Farmers Union. The Zimbabwe Farmers Union is a farmer representative organization which is membership based. We draw membership from smallholder farmers, those that are emerging commercial farmers, and also we have large-scale commercial farmers in the organization. We represent the interests of farmers by way of ensuring that the hurdles, the obstacles in production and marketing are addressed through thorough research of the environment, the operating environment, which would be the financial aspects, the supply of inputs, and the marketing of produce. So anything in that space is our purview, is within our purview. Within the Zimbabwe Farmers Union, we have commodity associations and a number of commodity associations, livestock, horticulture, cotton, grains, name it. And within that, we then also operate in the space of dairy farming. So we do have a number of dairy farmers who we support through our mandate to represent farmer interests, working with other organizations and institutions to ensure that this mandate is driven. And we do have wings that also represent the interests of the different categories of our farmers. So we have a commodities wing, we have the women's wing, we also have a youth wing. The idea here is to ensure that while we take care of the business of farming and marketing produce, we also look at the equal participation of women farmers and our youths, encouraging them to participate in the mainstream of the economy. Milk production has significantly increased. So moving forward, we see that there is scope for growth. Also from our mandate as the ZFU, we see that there is increased participation of women and youth in the dairy industry through our efforts where we established platforms for women champions in dairy, promoting gender equality and equity, and then also youth champions who are also demonstrating the benefits of participating in the dairy industry, albeit starting small, but also with the view to grow their businesses. And we have also seen amongst the women and the youth the increased ownership and control of resources, a thing which never used to happen in the past. Even the pieces of land, we see now women jointly owning those pieces of land together with men, or women on them or by themselves owning their own pieces of land and the assets that they acquired under this project, where they are now, having absolute control over the means of production.
Finally, we are going to be listening to Mr. Daryl Archibald. So he's going to be highlighting on several issues that are important in terms of dairy production. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name's Daryl Archibald. I'm the chairman of ZIDIT, which is the industry body that brings together all the stakeholders within the dairy industry: dairy farmers, stock feed manufacturers, retailers, processors, Ministry of Industry and Ministry of Agriculture. The reason is to make sure that we look at the value chain from A to Z and ensure that we are lobbying for a successful value chain. If we take only our individual sections, we're not going to create the competitiveness that we want within the region. Zimbabwe used to be an exporter of dairy. We will be an exporter of dairy again, but only with the alignment of all the stakeholders.
There you heard it, viewers. It was a pleasure having you with us today, where we're looking at dairy production. We were looking at milk production, to be precise. You would find that most of Zimbabweans, all of Zimbabweans, we do consume tea. In as much as some might want black coffee, some still prefer to take their coffee with milk. And you would find that if these issues are not addressed, we will end up looking at milk as a luxurious product. But it is not. It is pertinent that even the kids that are growing are exposed to a balanced diet through the consumption of milk, which has high protein content and important for strong bones and teeth development. From me, your host was Zanai Manyore. I'm also on Instagram. It's a W Manyore. And the crew behind the scenes. Have yourselves a fabulous evening. Thank you for watching.